So it's early March. The weather's not particularly great. It's still quite cold. But we're going to be climbing Scafell Pike, which is behind me somewhere. We need to find it. We need to find the route, and we're at a farm. And like I said, it's pretty cold. So let's see how we go on.
Gate number 10.
Self-locking gate. So far so good. We are probably 20 minutes into the hike towards Scafell Pike. Actually quite warm now, especially when you've got about 4 layers of clothing on. You find yourself taking layers off. So it's actually quite warm, but I'm sure it'll get colder the further we climb, and we're beginning to climb a bit now. So let's see how we get on. Pretty easy going so far. Not as challenging as first thought, but I reckon it's going to get a lot harder further up. Climb towards this peak here, which I'm not sure what that is, but that's not Scafell Pike. I think it's behind it. Scafell Pike is further behind it. You can't see it yet, but anyway, we'll get there eventually. That's my little tuck shop for today.
Time for a snack.
Now what we got in here is a little, what we got here? Some bananas.
Yeah.
They're going off, so better eat them pretty quickly. Got some macaroons, bar of chocolate.
Yum.
We got some crunchy nut cornflakes. And something else, probably some nuts or something.
Yes, we want nuts.
We got nuts, but anyway, little tuck shop.
Nice one.
Banana.
Thanks.
Banana first. Here we are, 45 minutes in to Scafell Pike hike from Seathwaite. The clothes came off, and now they're about to go back on again. Getting a lot closer now to Scafell Pike. We're getting to the point where we have to take a turning away from one of the other peaks here towards Scafell Pike. Not sure where that is. It might be coming up pretty soon, but anyway, I feel it's getting a lot colder now. Even Scafell Pike has got a lot of snow on top of it, so it's a sign that it's still pretty cold up here. And the clothes came off temporarily, but they've all gone back on again. More importantly though, we've only just realised that the source of the River Derwent is actually up here somewhere. You can actually see the river kind of trickling down behind me. There's all these little tributaries joining the main river, and you can actually see the water pouring off the mountains here, off the hills, pouring into the river. So it's kind of interesting to see the source of the River Derwent. Anyway, Scafell Pike, just behind me, you can see it, snow-capped. Right up there, that snow-capped peak ahead of us, we think is Scafell Pike. And you've got to get past this kind of craggy rock. The pathway is still here, just about, but we've got to kind of meander around these rocks, and it's also just by this river, which we think is still the River Derwent. So we've got to follow the river, we've got to go against the flow, and we've got to get to this peak in front of us. is Diehead Stretchers Box. In case of emergency, dial 999, ask for police, then mountain rescue. Grid reference NY218095. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Got everything here. We also had helicopters flying over us earlier. This is the point where it's beginning to get a lot more challenging. You see around me, it's a lot more hilly, a lot more mountainous, a lot more craggy. Like the rocks around me now, very difficult to walk on in some places. So this is the point now where we really have to put a lot more effort in to climb to the actual peak on Scafell Pike. So yeah, better get to it then, I reckon. Is this the source of the River Derwent?
Got your gadget still?
Is this the source of the Derwent River? Again, a lot closer now, a lot closer to the peak. See, it's behind me. Well, there's this icy bit behind me. Not sure if that's the actual peak, but we're not far off now. Probably about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and we would have made it to the peak of Scafell Pike. It's getting a little bit cold now, and we bumped into two chaps on the way down. They said, yeah, it's very cold up there, but there's like no wind. Well, hell of a climb. Almost there. I think it's just behind us. Scafell Pike. We're not far to go now. Probably maybe 10-15 minutes. Well, the views here, pretty unbelievable. Gotta be honest. You're not gonna get views like that anywhere else in England. That is the Lake District in all its glory. highest point in England. So there we go, we made it to the top of England, the highest point of England, Scafell Pike. Unfortunately, you didn't quite get the weather, but it is early March, so what can you expect? But the views are still pretty amazing. So behind me, you can see as far out to the sea, to the North Sea, I think it is, or the Irish Sea. And then behind me, you can see a lot of the lakes around the Lake District. So it's pretty cool, pretty amazing. Was it worth it? Of course it's worth it. Good for the mind, good for the body, good for the soul, good for the spirit, good for everything. A freshly chilled neck oil IPA. A reward for climbing Scafell Pike, a neck oil IPA. Fantastic. One thing you'll notice about Scafell Pike is that the temperature drops so quickly. As soon as you get to a certain point, like literally you're into like really freezing conditions, and obviously there's a lot of snow and ice around, which gives you an indication that it's actually quite cold up here. But it's the speed at which the temperature drops is just really catches you by surprise. You've really got to start to wrap up warm. I mean, you're going to take off clothes during the climb, but then as soon as you get to the top, you really need to put clothes back on again. Hat, scarf, gloves and everything. Hand warmers if you've got them. So holding a neck oil IPA is probably not the best idea, really.